Welcome back, Dynamic Gang. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you already subscribed, welcome back. So this is going to be the third part. I'm going to use this Supergirl pose that's made by Michael Turner, the late Michael Turner. Rest in peace, Michael Turner. If you don't know who Michael Turner is, please check out some of his stuff. I don't remember how he passed away, but he's up there with J. Scott Campbell and Jim Lee when it comes to drawing The Woman Anatomy. He's impeccable when it comes to that. Now, the great thing about The Invisible Woman is, you can always, because she's always, she could be riding an invisible, like almost like, how Iceman shoots out his ice and he's able to ride like an ice board. Well, the same thing with Invisible Woman. She could do the same thing. So it looks like she's flying, but she's not. She can turn invisible swords, ice picks. I mean, not ice picks, but it looks like an ice pick, but it's an invisible pick. She's even created invisible bubbles around the Hulk so that he would lose oxygen to turn back into Bruce Banner. Invisible Woman is just an impeccable, impeccable when it comes to having all these incredible powers. And if you sleep on Invisible Woman, man, she's pretty tough. I just want to go over a little bit of what I finished with Doctor Doom. I decided that I'm going to actually have, because I'm going to do the back with Johnny Blaze, or I'm sorry, not Johnny Blaze, Johnny Storm and the Thing. So what I did was I finished, let me see if I can show it to you. So it's kind of hard to see, but as you can see, I finished the hand, all right, and his cape is coming up. I finished the rest of the cape here, and I was going to do the airbrushing on the boots, but what I did was instead I just did it manually with the Sharpie, which is the 0.5 tip. Okay, so Doctor Doom is completely done. Now, it may not look like it, but everything is drawn. From the hands, from the cape, from the feet, everything's here. And the reason I did this is because I'm going to have Mr. Fantastic. This is what I was thinking. And that's why it took me a while. It took me about like 2 days to really think about this. I'm going to have Mr. Fantastic stretching around the arm of the sleeve, and I'm going to have Mr. Fantastic coming up from over here in the shoulders and have his hand reaching over, and I'm going to have him holding Mrs. Fantastic, or Invisible Woman, Sue Richards, whatever you want to call her. And from there, I'm going to have Johnny Blaze, I'm sorry, not Johnny Blaze, the Human Torch, Johnny Storm. I'm going to have him on the other sleeve coming up. I'm going to have like the whole sleeve looking like it's coming up, and he's going to be projecting the fire that's going to be hitting Doctor Doom. So there's going to be a fire hitting here. There's going to be an invisible bubbles hitting here, Mr. Fantastic here, and then on the back, I'm going to dedicate this whole thing to the Human Torch and to the Thing. I'm going to put the Thing right here. This is, if you ever see how big the Thing is, he needs to have a dedicated spot for the whole back. He goes to toe-to-toe with the Hulk. Enough said, right? And I'm going to have the Human Torch up here. I'm going to have the fire coming over here. And like I showed you, I want to have the fire coming around the sleeve. And then I'm going to have it projecting over here. Okay? And by doing that, right, this is going to, by projecting the fire, I'm going to have the Invisible Woman. And the great thing about the Invisible Woman is she can make an invisible bubble, right? So she can't get hurt. So there's a lot of stuff that I had to go through my mind that, once you commit to something, especially on shirts and stuff, there's no erasing. There's no, okay, let me do this, let me do that. That's why it took me a little bit to really think about what I really want to do with the shirt. And I want to utilize every last bit of space I have, all the way from the sleeves, from the back. And that's one of the reasons why I finished drawing the hand, I finished drawing the cape, and then I finished drawing the boots. Well, I was always going to do the boots, but so this whole thing, if you were going to like cut this whole thing off, it's going to be a big poster. So you'd have the Thing coming over to fight him, and you'd have Human Torch, and then you'd have you'd have Mr. Fantastic stretching over here, but then you're going to have Mrs. Fantastic over here. So I just want to, when I'm doing shirts and whatnot, I find it easier to take references, okay? And there's nothing wrong with taking references as long as you understand that how the costume is. Instead of having the S, of course you're going to have to do the 4. And instead of having her at like a belly shirt, of course you're going to have it coming down as a one piece, because it's the Mrs. Fantastic. So this part right here would be the 4. This up here would be white. Of course, she would have a white belt, and then she would have the boots, which is white, and I don't. Oh yeah, she does have gloves. She does have gloves, but the hair. I mean, she has, depending on what Mrs. Fantastic that you're drawing, she can have like the short 1950s to the 40s hair, or she can have the nice. I don't want to say long hair, but she has sort of like a nice little.
What to say about Mrs. Fantastic?
This is basically what we're going to be
Invisible
doing.
Woman or Sue Richards.
We're going to be putting this pose on here.
She's a very underrated character. She's very strong. You know what though? I'm not gonna lie. I read a couple storylines where she was going out with the Subman. Well, I don't want to say she was going out with him, but Submanator likes her. Dr. Doom was trying to marry her. There was a story where she was hooking up with some other person. Well, I don't know if they were hooking up, but there's just so many. But I mean, the pictures they drew of her like with Namor, I mean, like I understand it's just fictional art, but I mean, like, I'd be mad if I was Mr. Fantastic. I don't want my wife shaking her butt on somebody's junk like in the front of the cover. But she's very like underrated, and I think she's one of the very few people that I know that can actually beat the Hulk hands down. Being underestimated. If you never saw that in the comic books, if I remember correctly, I think she made an invisible bubble over the Hulk's head, cut the oxygen off, and he transformed back into Bruce Banner because, the Hulk needs, I think this was in the 90s anyway, so I'm sure the Hulk has by far now be able to like do things in space where he can hold his breath for a longer period of time. I don't know. But I'm not an expert on the Hulk anymore. Actually, I'm not an expert on any of these characters anymore because, a lot of things have changed since the 80s and 90s and even the early 2000s. So, I don't even know anymore, but I know when I was growing up, that's what she did. So, all right. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any other recommendations, let me know in the comments. All right. Thank you.
We'll be right back.
So what I did was, all I did was just use the pose. All the shadowing, I did it, by mind, by memory. Now, the leg right here is going to be invisible, and the arm right here is going to be invisible. And this is right here, this is all that stuff that we're going to be coloring it in. So for right now, we got Doctor Doom, and then we got the Invisible Woman. Thanks for drawing with me. We're going to do Mr. Fantastic stretching over here, and then we're going to have his hand coming out over here. And yeah, as you can see, no shadowing anywhere. As you can see over here, I did all the shadowing and from memory with this is how the suit's supposed to look. It's supposed to be white and blue. Same thing over here. So we're gonna take care of Mr. Fantastic next. Thanks for drawing with me, and yeah, that's it. And rest in peace, Michael Turner.